So hi, I'm Ricardo Torres. I am going to be moderating this, and I am pleased to be joined by Mr. Jimmy Palmiotti, who y'all may know.
Hey guys.
You guys know him for his comics, but he's also pretty good at Rainbow Six, in case anybody wants to take him on later. And on the far end, we got Mr. Ed Boon. You know him for his games, but he has a prized possession of a Spider-Man versus Superman comic on his office wall, I believe. And that actually is good because it set the precedent for what he's doing now, sort of, more or less.
Yeah.
So, well, you guys are making a game. You got DC, you got MK, and they're fighting. You want to tell us about it?
Absolutely. You know, we've been doing Mortal Kombat since 1992. I don't know how many people have been counting. This is Mortal Kombat 8. And for every game that we want to do, we want to introduce something as dramatically different as possible to keep it fresh, keep it feeling like a new experience. And about 10 years ago, we talked about doing something with, you know, crossing over with some of our competition, like a Street Fighter or Tekken. And, you know, obviously, the inevitable question came up of, well, who would develop the game? And which kind of put a kibosh on our efforts. So our marketing people approached us and said, are you guys interested in having Batman in your game? You're going to have Superman in your game. And something, you know, to me, the whole magic of, oh, look, there's Batman and Sub-Zero on the screen at the same time. There's something very cool, magic about it. And so I talked it over with the team. You know, we got everybody excited about it, and then when we started working on the game, we decided, hey, you know, we really want to keep this authentic. There's a whole other audience that we've never really specifically catered to, which is, you know, the DC fans, the comic fans. And so we got Jimmy and Justin to help us write the story, keep it authentic to the Mortal Kombat, or to the DC universe. How would Batman react if he ran into Scorpion? How would Superman react if, you know, he's weakened and he had to, you know, fight against Sub-Zero, and that's where Jimmy came in.
Yeah, I mean, for Justin and I, I'm sorry I sound like Batman right now because my voice is shot. Sorry, Batman, I didn't mean to pick on you there. It's okay. It's Batman. Yeah, for Justin and I, you know, this is we're both fans of the Mortal Kombat games, and we got the call to come in and help on this game, and we were just like, our imaginations went nuts. I'm sure, like, you guys out there, like, how is this going to work? How are they going to do this? What can we do? And for Justin and I, it's like, well, what characters are we going to get a chance to put in the game?
All right, so Ed, do you want to explain how you're going to have Superman fighting with people and not having it be the shortest fight ever?
Yeah. Yeah, that's without a doubt, that is the number one question that everybody asks. Well, why would I pick anybody except for Superman? And you know, for people who are, you guys probably know a lot more about, you know, the whole heritage of all these characters than I do. But not everybody knows that Superman's vulnerable to both kryptonite and magic.
These guys know that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Everybody here knows that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that guy, Batman, you know that, right? That's how you got him last time? All right. Little bit of magic.
Yeah, and so, you know, the Mortal Kombat universe is, you know, everything's magic. It's sorcery, it's, you know, Outworld, it's all the kind of, all this mystical stuff. And so when these two realms merge, there's just kind of magic all over that kind of brings Superman down to a little bit more even keel with the other characters. He still has all his powers, and right now he's probably one of the strongest characters in the game. And so that kind of makes it a little bit more plausible. And to a lot more detail, it's described in the story. We really go into the details of, you know, how all this is happening, why are these two, you know, universes together, and it's, you know, very thoroughly explained in the story.
Yeah, I mean, for Justin and I, you know, everything had to make sense, you know, because when writing comics, people are very vocal the next day if they don't like what you did on the book. You guys know what I'm talking about. The internet's very great. You get the mail the next minute. And to make this story work, you know, we just really kind of dug in and said we gotta make this so both sides, both fans of both sides. And myself, I'm a fan of both sides, but so we kind of structured a story that makes total sense and totally works with all the characters. And that was the fun part of writing it, because we were like, oh, we can make this work, you know. And with the crew at Midway and Ed, we would throw out the craziest stuff, and everyone would just start smiling and laughing and going, yeah, we can do that, you know. And as you can see in the visuals, I mean, the stuff is just spectacular. And what you see there is the tip of the iceberg. I can honestly say it is so the tip of the iceberg. I can't tell you. So some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, we kind of feel like everybody's seeing a sneak peek into this. You know, we haven't even opened the doors to the story mode, how it's presented to the player. There's two separate stories. It's kind of imagining the same events happening from the different perspective. You pick the DC side, you're going to see it from these Mortal Kombat characters invading. You just pick it from the MK side, and you see, you know, what is this guy with the, you know, this Batman guy? What's he doing here? So there's a great these great events that you see from the different perspectives, and it's really makes it a lot of stuff just kind of falls into place as you're playing the different modes of the story. You know, adding the DC characters is as dramatic of a story change as we could think of, but we still wanted to do something dramatic with the fighting. And, you know, these two new modes, one is called Free Fall Combat. Like I said, you're fighting as you're falling down. You have a series of offensive moves. The other character has a series of defensive moves. Whoever ends up on top when you hit the ground is the one who does the damage on the other character. And so there's this kind of like gambling feature going on with, like, you know, if you want to do your super move or if you want to get a few more hits in. And we'll show you a quick little clip of it, give you a... And again, like I was explaining before, you know, Flash, he's kind of accumulating damage, and he decided, okay, I'm gonna cash out and throw her on the ground. But if he wanted to continue fighting on the way down, he could do a lot more damage, but he's still kind of running the risk of Sonya countering one of his moves and then kind of, you know, cashing out herself. The other mode we call is called Close Combat. For those of you who are kind of familiar with fighting games, most fighting games have a throw feature. You grab the opponent and then you see something really cool. It's always kind of a passive event. You don't have much interaction. We decided we wanted to do something and make it a lot more of an interactive sequence. And so when you throw somebody in this game, you go into this, we like to call it like a boxing mode, Close Combat. And then you're playing this kind of mini game. If the defender, you know, counters one of your moves, boom, the mode is over. But if you get 4 or 5 hits in, then the mode is over. But you can do a lot more damage the more hits you get in there. As you saw in the video too, you know, what was so fun about the DC characters is, I think if any of you were making a fighting game and you had Superman, you'd probably come up with, you know, 90% of the moves that we did. Everybody knows he has the heat vision, freeze breath, and so that was one of the funnest parts about this game, is there was very little in terms of design of the characters with respect to their special moves. It was always just, you know, what moves did we not have time to put in?
Get over here!
Also, we were going to announce that we have a collector's edition of the game, and I was hoping he'd be here. We have a comic book that's being written by the Mortal Kombat team. It's illustrated by a good friend of mine, John Tobias, who was involved in the original Mortal Kombat. And I've seen some of the early sketches, and it's going to be amazing. It makes for a great prequel right up to the story in the game. So it's going to set up a lot of stuff, explain a lot of the the details that these guys kind of crafted with the story, and we're really excited about it.
All right, and so now we got questions, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
All right, so line up, folks.
Get online, hit us with them.
This is the first Mortal Kombat that's going to be a teen-rated game. Is there anything that you wanted to do that you're having a hard time with making it teen? Is there going to be a director's cut?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because we've seen like people write things. Oh, I want to tear Batman's head off. I want to see Batman. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Superman tear somebody's head off, and I don't want to see. I don't want to decapitate Batman.
Marvel fan.
Yeah. So as there were some compromises that we made because it is a T-rated game. As you've seen though from the gameplay, it is a brutal kind of experience. It's not like it's this watered down Mortal Kombat game. We are going to have fatalities in the game. The heroes are going to do what's called brutalities, and
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, they have some. They look very cool. I don't know how many people have actually played the game. Superman has a really cool brutality mode. There were some compromises, but I think the win over having these characters, having had such an awesome story that these guys wrote, far outweighs any of the sacrifices we had to make.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, good. I sound like that? God. Yeah, well, it's nice to meet you guys. I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat, and something I've noticed is that in most Mortal Kombat games, there's always some kind of like extra game mode, like motor combat or puzzle combat. And I was wondering if you're going to do anything with DC, like are we going to see Batman driving the Batmobile, cutting people off?
I guess I wish I had talked to you before we made all these decisions. That's a pretty cool idea. We're kind of considering this, like a reboot of Mortal Kombat, and our kind of rule is, if we did it in the last game or if we've done it in the last couple of games, let's not do it, just because we really don't want people feeling like I played this game before. I don't think you're going to see the last, kind of like we like to call them diversion from Mortal Kombat. Probably not in this version. But, like people are asking, are you going to do friendship moves? Are you going to do, the babalities? We're going to see a baby version of Flash or something like that. And it might be cool, but probably for this version, we're really focusing in on the new fighting mechanic and this awesome story mode. When you see the story mode, that's what's going to be, the star of the show.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Ed, I interviewed you last week at E3, and I completely forgot to ask you, could you do the Scorpion voice for us?
Sure. Get over here. Next question.
Is that going to be in the video game like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Excellent. Thanks.
Scorpion's mellowed out.
Batman?
Hi. I think it's a really great... Quiet, everybody. Hi. I think it's a great concept. I'm just wondering, is there any environment-style fatalities? Like back in the first Mortal Kombat where you can knock someone off into the spikes?
No. There are... The main interaction with the environment is the, blasting through the backgrounds, falling over, fighting while you're falling from one arena to the next, but not the fatalities, so to speak. Again, it's a T-rated game for Batman. For you to fall onto some spikes.
We're not killing you. We're not going to kill
you.
you.
Want to see.
Yeah, we're not going to kill you. You're going to be okay.
Good.
Joker?
Also, will Smoke or Noops a bot make an appearance?
Probably not.
Is there gonna be unlockable like costumes or anything? Like you can like change like Superman's costume to like a different era, like Kingdom Come costume, or like change Batman's costume in the video game. Is there any unlockables like that?
Well, yeah, we need to have some method of distinguishing between the two versions of the characters. Like if you pick two versions of Batman, we don't want to have the exact same guy. But how far we can take beyond just, like a color change or something, we would like to explore, doing the, alternate versions. But there's, like we were saying before, there's a whole process of approvals and iteration back and forth that somewhat limits our ability to do just anything as if when we were doing just the Mortal Kombat games.
Like having one Batman costume being the Batman Beyond costume, having like different gadgets and stuff.
Yeah, and keep in mind though, there's certain Batmans that we're not supposed to tread onto. Like we're not supposed to make ours look like the Dark Knight Batman.
Right. I always say, like, if it does really well and there's another game, you never know. Right, Batman? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. One of my friends introduced me to Mortal Kombat a few years back, and I really loved the game. One of the videos I saw, you guys were talking about an original ketchup and mustard. I remember that. Are you guys going to put them in as a cameo, like kind of in the background sort of thing?
Have the ketchup and mustard characters
Yeah.
in the
'cause
game?
I've heard them in one of the videos. You guys were saying about the red and yellow kind of characters, you're going to call them ketchup and mustard. Are you going to put them in the game? As a cameo, maybe not
Well,
playable.
ketchup and mustard was something that we called, we had a red character and a yellow character, these two robots, Sector and Cyrex. And before we gave them names, just internally, we called them ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
Just so we knew which one we were talking about. And
Yeah.
so we never actually had a character named Ketchup and Mustard, but...
But are you thinking about maybe putting them in the background somewhere?
Yeah, I highly doubt it.
Well, that would be cool. Thank you guys a lot.
Thank you, thanks.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out to the Comic-Con. It was great for you guys to come. Number one question, I was a big fan of the Mortal Kombat comic books by Malibu back in the early 90s, and it seems like you guys are working a lot closer with DC than, say, your rivals in Marvel vs. Capcom. Do you guys maybe have the inspiration to perhaps restart a new line of Mortal Kombat comic books, maybe in the new millennium with DC? And second question, will there be Harakiri in this game? On behalf of the Mortal Kombat characters, I really did like that.
What was the second question?
Will there be Harakiri? Suicides.
Well, the first question with the comics, who knows? It comes down to how the game's received, and that's basically it. It comes down to how well the game does, and if there's interest for it. And you guys are very vocal everywhere. Trust me, I know that. And that's all you got to do. You got to ask for it a lot. Go on to DC message boards, at the Mortal Kombat boards. Just say we'd love to, love the game. We'd love to see a comic, and that's really how it's done.
Yeah.
It's really tested. The waters are tested that way.
Yeah, and this collector's edition is going to have a comic in the game, and we've had discussions about if it did really well to do like a series or something like that. So there's definitely interest.
And the Harakiri? Oh, and will there be actually extra unlockable content like in Deadly Alliance and Deception where you find the behind-the-scenes stuff, the commercials, and the concept art and stuff like that?
Yeah, we definitely want to put the extra content in the game. It probably won't be presented in the crypt format that we've done in the last few games. But again, we want to do everything different. And as to your second question, though, I don't think we can get away with having Superman, commit.
Oh no, on behalf of the Mortal Kombat characters, though, that's what I meant.
Probably not. I think we want each, both sides to have the same kind of feature set. So.
Cool. Thanks for answering the question, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Hey, what's going on? I just want to say that I've been a huge Mortal Kombat and DC fan for basically my whole life. I mean, my first word was Batman. Yeah. And I remember beating the crap out of a guy when I was 5 years old in Mortal Kombat 2 at the arcade. And, and I'd just like to ask, you said in an earlier interview that you were taking it almost back to basics, almost back to Mortal Kombat 2 style. And I did kind of see in the videos that you were just showing that the combos were severely reduced, almost to the point of non-existent. Would you like to elaborate on any more elements from Mortal Kombat 2 that you'd be bringing back into this one?
Sure. Well, the combos certainly haven't been reduced to non-existent. I think the kind of canned button sequences have been dramatically reduced. But, what I'm excited about is when people get their hands on the game, when they start playing the game. If you can, you can create your own combos, which is really cool. So, you juggle a guy up in the air, and then you say, I bet you I can throw a spear and pull him in. Or I bet you, if I'm Superman, before he lands on the ground, I can jump, grab him, throw him up in the air, slam him on the ground, hit him with the heat vision before. If you can think of it to a big extent, you can do it. And so it's really like the combining of the special moves together as opposed to just combining button sequences. That's how I would describe it. It's a little bit more of a 2D playing game, too. I think for people who played Mortal Kombat 2 or 3, they're going to feel a little bit more familiar with that. And so, like I said, my biggest excitement is for you guys to get your hands on the game and actually feel that it does, feel like kind of like old school Mortal Kombat.
Well, anyway, I just want to start off by saying it's an honor to finally meet you. I've been a big fan of the Mortal Kombat franchise ever since the very first game on Sega Genesis. Well, anyway, the one thing I've always been curious about was, you know how it's K instead of C for the combat? I always was wondering how that came about.
Oh, the spelling of combat?
Yeah.
That's not how you spell it, or?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just curious how that all came about.
You know what? The first Mortal Kombat game was like an 8-month project. It was very fast. You know, we had to turn it around really quick. So we didn't know what we were going to call it. We were calling it, Kumite for a while. We were calling it Death Blow, Dragon Attack, just all these kind of crazy names. And somebody wrote on a grease board the word combat, and they spelled it with a C. Someone came in and put a K over it. I don't know what the significance of that was, but somebody thought, oh, that looks pretty cool. And then one of the pinball designers came into my office and said, why don't you call it Mortal Kombat? And then that was it. It's not a sexy story. It's kind of boring, but that's how it is.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
You could have tried to make it sexy by now.
So I don't think I could think of a better collaboration. I mean, pretty much you two are responsible for my childhood. So I just wanted to ask.
Tell your mom the check's in the mail, all right?
I mean, you know.
Okay,
Oh.
We talk all the time. But I wanted to know specifically about the combat system in terms of fighting styles. Like, will we see Batman switch from maybe jiu-jitsu to karate, like that was introduced in Deception, or is it a set style for every character?
It's pretty much a set style. I mean, Batman does have kind of a martial arts fighting style. But like I said, if we did it in the previous games, we tried to, not do it in this game just because we wanted to be different. We really don't want people to pick up the game and say, okay, I played this already. But it's instead of like kind of different fighting styles, our emphasis is on special moves. Again, these characters, they were so easy, so much fun to make special moves for. Everybody knows, Batman has all the gadgets, the Batarang and all that, and so his moves are really, or the emphasis on the fighting is really based on the abilities of the character. So it's a lot more of a special move kind of show, as you can see with the fighting, as opposed to a button combination and memorizing sequence.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Catwoman, the way she was moving, we're very conscious of how Catwoman should move, and even like Sonya, if Sonya and Catwoman fight, it's two different styles going on. So that's, that was very important because, again, not only the voice of the character, but the stance and everything about it has to be dead on, and we really worked hard to nail that. So I'm hoping you can see that in there.
Good. And just a kind of request. I know we were talking about, the potential for DLC, downloadable content, characters and whatnot, and we still have some more characters revealed. But if Aquaman does come up, can you just do your best to make him like, the sickest character? Because I promise, my thing is everybody hates on Aquaman. And they tease me at work about it all the time.
Which Aquaman? One with the claw?
Any era that you could possibly think
Any
of. I
Aquaman.
try and just like, man, Aquaman is
Super Friends
cool.
Aquaman or Hook Aquaman?
Listen, I mean, whichever one. Hook Aquaman gets the worst from my work area, but I'm just, if it does come up, I would
It's funny because you mentioned Aquaman. We were talking about, what does Aquaman eat for dinner? Does he eat fish?
I would hope not.
Because he talks to them, right? So where does he go? Like outside for his food somewhere?
I would hope not. Maybe
Right,
something.
We'll keep it in mind now.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I remember hearing someone earlier ask about Darkseid. Quite seriously, you should bring him in. Darkseid dares all. Come on.
That's a cool idea, actually. But
I'd love to see the Omega beams just.
Well, it's the funny. I'll tell you, the big villain. Oh, I can't tell you.
Almost had him, guys. Almost had him.
Let's just say, we really put our thinking caps on what would make everybody go nuts, and I think you'll be very happy with what we got coming forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Hi guys. One of the things that I thought made the original Mortal Kombat insanely popular was the arcade experience of it. Is there any plans to bring, with the decline of arcades and everything, is there any plans to bring another Mortal Kombat to the arcades?
Not currently. We had some companies approach us about doing what this game or previous
Right,
ones for the arcade, but we didn't. We basically have to finish this game first. We are going to have a pretty strong online component in this game, so you'll be able to play against people. There's like a whole like a chat room where you get to challenge people. It's going to make announcements over who beat who in the game, and so that's going to kind of help duplicate some of that social aspect that the arcades were so great at doing.
Yeah, back in Michigan, we used to have tournaments all the time and stuff, and we'd have leaderboards at the arcades. So will there be leaderboards and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's going to be leaderboards. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so we are almost out of time, but I'll make sure Raiden gets to ask his question. So go for it.
I just wanted to know, because of what you guys were saying about how little time you have and you only have a limited amount of characters, were any characters from either side cut because they would be too much like a character from the other universe? Say you have Shazam and would that be a reason?
Like Jonah Hex would have been cool, but nobody wanted. No, are there any characters that wanted the time we couldn't get or something like that?
Oh, that we couldn't get in the game?
Yeah, I think we asked for what we wanted, and
yeah. I mean, and I think if you were making a game, you always come up with a list of characters that's bigger than you can possibly do it. And so just the restraints of time and a budget and all that is going to prevent you from doing some of the. But I think for the most part, DC was very, very cool about letting us select the characters that were the most recognizable. What I always say to people is if you were to say, if I was making a DC game and I had to pick 10 characters, you'd probably pick 8 out of the 10 that we picked. I think it's a pretty safe bet. And so that they've been very cooperative with us in doing it. And then there's also story elements. We're not going to put in Mr. Mixelplick or
Batmite, yeah,
Batmite or Crypto or something like that in the game. But we wanted to do the characters that people most recognizable want to play.
Yeah, we got a couple of big surprises coming. Yeah, trust me.
Oh, awesome.
All right,
Thank you so
well,
much, guys.
Want to thank everybody for coming. Want to thank the boys for fielding your questions.
Awesome.